Dun, 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 dun. Hello, Deep Freeze here. Back at it again with another video, and it's something that is this is not something I'm usually gonna do. Very outside of my realm of expertise. This is gonna be a bit unscripted, not even a bit. It's gonna be completely unscripted. I want to talk about a certain game, a very special game that may or may not be on the screen right now. You're probably looking at it. It's Fire Emblem Thracia 76. I just fucked that up already. It's Fire Emblem Thracia 776. Jesus. I've been playing this game a lot lately, like a ton, and I just want to talk about it, like really badly. So I'm gonna be talking about it. Since Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is getting like literally no news, and I really thought we would have something by now. And I understand Three Houses release window is kind of like this too, but it's drier than the fucking Sahara Desert right now. So I'm gonna manifest more Fire Emblem into the world by talking about it today. For context, so this way you can know my credentials as a Fire Emblem player and see if our tastes align. I have played pretty much most of the games in the series. The only ones I haven't played yet, or finished, I should say, are FE1, Fire Emblem 2, Gaiden, FE3, and FE12, New Mystery of the Emblem. So I've played pretty much every other game. I did start with Awakening. I was an Awakening baby, like, believe it or not. Granted, that was like 13 years ago, so that's insane to think about. And my favorite Fire Emblem before this, oh, spoiler, I like this game. My favorite Fire Emblem before this game was Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, obviously. And it was I thought it'd be really difficult for a Fire Emblem game to be better than Fates Conquest, because I have a ton of attachment to that game. I have a ton of nostalgia. I played that game a lot when I was in high school. It was like the cornerstone of my gaming career early on, I guess. And it felt like the best Fire Emblem game. It was like Awakening, but actually refined to a fun degree, with a ton of unique and interesting characters and this awesome Japanese aesthetic for Hoshido versus the gothic European aesthetic of Nor. Like, it was cool. Your character is a fucking dragon, dude. That's sick. Every Fire Emblem game I played after Fates, I always thought they were good. Like, the ones that came close to Fates were like Genealogy. I loved Genealogy. The Tellius games, I really liked Radiant Dawn. Echoes was fine. At the time, I loved it. Now I'm kind of like iffy on it. But those were the closest thing to unseating Fates for me. Thracia has already done that. So the reason I started playing Thracia in the first place, after so many years of not playing it, well, obviously translation issues. Of course, there's a really good translation patch out for it now. I don't remember what exactly we were talking about, but I was up late playing something, maybe, with two of my friends. And one of them, I guess we were talking about Fire Emblem for some reason. The topic came up, and she said she never played Genealogy. And I was like, you should play Genealogy. It's really good. So she was like, she basically said bet, and literally loaded up a Japanese version of Genealogy and started playing it right then and there. And I was like, what the fuck? Holy shit. That took me by surprise. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to play Thracia now, because she was the biggest Thracia fan I knew at the time. And then I downloaded the little Manster patch, and I just started playing it right then and there. And then I got there were two attempts, but I'll start with the first one. So I first played the game. I tried to Iron Man it. I also played this game without a guide, which is very interesting. I would genuinely recommend people do that. Please play this game without a guide. It's really fun. But I played the first time without a guide, and I tried to Iron Man it twice. Needless to say, the furthest I got was chapter 5. The first attempt, I was having a good time. You know, it was really cool. We got a really broken personal weapon in the Pooji in the very first chapter, and then we also got a fucking Brave Axe, and we had a Cap Speed Swordmaster, and we had a Brave Lance that gives you 10 luck, and it has like 1,000,000 might. And I was like, wow, this game's supposed to be hard? This is supposed to be a hard game? I was breezing through it. Then I got to 2X. That was the first of many moments where I was like, what the fuck is this game? Fog of War is unforgiving. In that map, I did not capture Lifis, unfortunately. I did capture him, but then I let him go for whatever reason. I don't know why I did that. I just took his shit and then I let him go because I thought, oh, I can just use the lockpick. I guess I don't really need him as a unit. Yeah, I was brain dead at the time because obviously only thieves can use lockpicks. So I didn't have a thief. And this is the same attempt, the same first attempt. So I keep going. I didn't recruit Dawson because I didn't get all the kids in chapter 3 since I didn't have a lockpick to open all the doors. And I only needed one more door key to open one more door to get the kids out. There's like a bishop right next to the boss in chapter 3, and he has a door key, if you know what I'm talking about. When I got too close to him, he literally ran back, opened the door, and then opened a chest and used meteor on me. And I was flabbergasted, but I kept going because I was like, you know, it's a Kaga game. He surely has accounted for all the missteps a player might make. I could probably lose a few characters and be fine. So I didn't have Lifis. I didn't have Dawson. We're in chapter 4 now. We get 3 new characters, and I'm like, oh, actually, no, we get like 5. No, 6. Right? No, it's 5. It's 5. We get 5 new characters. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, look. Our army's being bolstered. There we go. I lost some people, but now it's fine. It's fine. We got a new thief. See, Kaga accounted for this. So I played chapter 4 like normal, blah blah blah. I can't recruit Dawson, so I just kill him, unfortunately. We go to chapter 4X. This is where the first run ends. Lara got captured by an enemy, and at that time, I don't think I fully understood how capture works. So I just no, actually I did. Sorry. I'm all over the place. I told you this is gonna be really rambly. I didn't kill him. Said killed him, unfortunately. The enemy that was holding Lara said killed him, and she had my lockpick, and I didn't have any door keys. So I literally soft locked myself on my first attempt, and I was like, what the fuck? So I just restarted. Second attempt, still trying to Iron Man it. I get much further this time. We get to chapter 7, I think. Yeah, the one where you're running from Manster and you're going to meet Hannibal. Unfortunately, I didn't recruit Shiva. Obviously, I just killed him because he was too difficult to recruit at the time. I got Lara killed by a meteor tome from the reinforcements. And also Lifis died. I did recruit Lifis this time, but then he also died. So I lost both of my thieves, which is a problem, of course. I didn't know if we got any more. And if we did, I don't know what chapter we would get them. But obviously that was bad. So I was like, yeah, if I just had Lifis or just Lara, I probably would have kept going. But since I lost both of my thieves, I was like, yeah, fuck that. So second attempt failed. And I was like, all right, so no more Iron Mans. No more Iron Manning. So the third attempt, I gave myself the ability to just play it normally. And I got through the game. It took me like a little over a week or so. But it was really fun. Long ass tangent story aside, let's finally talk about why Thracia is good. Let's get right to that. So first and foremost, the mechanics of this game are absurd in a good way. In a good way. There are a bevy of mechanics in this game. Firstly, like I mentioned before, capture is really cool. Capturing is basically the ability to rescue an enemy, and as long as your build stat or your con stat is higher, you can attempt to capture. When you capture an enemy, I believe it cuts your stats in half, and you get to basically take their inventory. You can initiate a trade with them, which is really cool. And this game also doesn't have any, it doesn't give you any money at all. You don't get any money, which kind of pissed me off, but I got used to it. You don't get any money at all for some reason. So you have to make money by stealing from enemies. I think that's really interesting. That's the only way. I mean, you can buy iron weapons in like a shop, but they cost like 2,000 a pop, and I don't think that's worth your money at all. So unless you're like in dire need of weapons, you shouldn't buy them. You should only be capturing from enemies if you can. And it also works both ways, of course. For example, like when my Lara got captured, she got her shit stolen. If the enemy captures any of your characters, they're gonna have their everything taken from them. But you can also, what I find really cool about that mechanic is you can also use that to your advantage and walk around with like an unarmed character and basically cut the stats of any enemy in half, so you can, kill them easier. Since when you capture a unit, When you attempt to capture it, it cuts your stats in half, but also when you're holding onto them, I believe, it also cuts your stats in half. And it also hinders your movement if their con is like 5 higher or something than you. So that was really cool. They haven't really brought that back. And of course, Fates had it. Maybe that's why I like Fates so much. Fates had it, but not to this degree, of course. Really hope this comes back in a way, in some way. I guess rescue is the next best thing, but I mean, you can't do that to enemies. It feels, it's very Thracia coded, very Thracia centric mechanic. I'm not sure how they would integrate it into a new Fire Emblem game, but I do want to see it come back. It's really cool. Rescue, I did just mention that rescue is also a mechanic that's in this game, and I'm realizing that a ton of mechanics in modern Fire Emblem originated with Thracia, because I thought rescue was a GBA thing for the longest time, but I mean, I don't think I need to really say much about it. It's just rescuing. You can take anyone with lower con and carry them around. It's really helpful. Another Thracia only mechanic is the FCM, or the PCC, the follow-up critical multiplier, whatever it's called. Really, really cool hidden stat that I think only Little Mancer lets you physically see it on the screen, which I appreciated. But it makes certain characters way better at combat than others, like Fergus and Ocean and Homer. My homie, Homer. I really liked FCC and Asbel. Oh, Asbel. Of course, Asbel. You can't talk about the ratio without Asbel. That kid's insane. FCM just made a lot of characters feel a lot more fun to play, because you essentially got almost guaranteed crits as long as you doubled. And there are a lot of high crit weapons, especially personal weapons in this game. So it makes it really easy to do boss killing and handle really strong enemies with that character that has a good FCM. It's just a fun thing in the player's hands. I don't know if any bosses, I guess Galzus technically has it as a boss or as an enemy. I can't remember if any bosses actually had FCM. But even if they did, they probably couldn't out double you anyway, or outspeed you. There's also Fatigue. Fatigue is, I'm not sure if it's a contentious mechanic for Thracia. I know some people just kind of feel like you can ignore it, because as long as you don't go over the HP threshold, you don't have to worry about fatigue. I found it actually really fun, and like it made me double think about which units I deploy and when I can deploy them. With foresight of which maps are coming up, it's way easier to play around the fatigue mechanic, but when you're doing it blind, it makes every deployment matter. You have to actually think about, okay, should I bring Safi, for example? Should I bring Safi? Because if I use Warp like twice, she probably is going to be out of commission for the next chapter, and I might need Warp for the next chapter, so I'll consider not Warp skipping this one and maybe doing it for the next one. Those are the thoughts I had to make whenever I deployed. It gets to a point where, of course, your strongest units can circumvent the fatigue mechanic as long as they have good HP. Like, I Galzus is not a good example because you get him at the end of the game, but like, I guess Dagdar or Connormore, for some reason, I don't know why he came to mind. Dawson, maybe? Yeah, Dawson. He's got some HP, right? Essentially, if you get into too many combats, if the amount of combats you get into outweigh your HP stat, you cannot deploy to the next map. You have to sit out. Thankfully, when you sit out one map, it completely resets your fatigue. So the idea is to keep your units switched in and out and not just rely on one really well-trained squad to clear most maps like you do in modern Fire Emblem. You just build up a core team and then you just power through the game. You can't do that in this game. I mean, you can, but it's not encouraged. So I enjoyed that. And they also give you more than enough stamina drinks. Like, you get a ton of stamina drinks if you play your cards right. So yeah, I don't think it's the biggest issue, but I think it's something that's nice to consider. So you can't just power through the game. I really enjoy fatigue. Kind of hope they bring it back, but I don't know if everyone would love that. Then there's movement stars. Oh, I love movement stars. This they need to bring back. I love movement stars. They are the most unreliable, unplanned for thing you could possibly imagine in a tactics game. Having the ability to move twice randomly is not helpful, but it's so fun. it's not helpful, but it's so fun. And not only do you have access to the movement star mechanics, so does the enemy. So it's a gigantic, just unpredictable thing that is ever present on any map. And I love it when it pops off. I scream. I cheer whenever Tina or Ronan gets a movement star. I'm like, holy shit, let's go. I definitely understand why people don't like this mechanic, because like I said, it's very unpredictable in a game where you probably want to have a straightforward, reliable plan to clear it. Having the enemy movement star or having your character movement star not be able to do anything is probably a bit annoying, but I like it. I will say it did make me pause because in my most recent run, Asbel got killed since Raedric got a movement star on the final chapter, and that kind of pissed me off. But you know, it was also endgame, so I didn't care at that point, to be honest. There are also the Crusader Scrolls. These are really cool. Again, I think this is a little Mancer thing because they show you that it blocks criticals. The friend that I was mentioning that told me to play Thracia didn't even know that they did this, apparently. I guess it's a hidden stat. But these are items that you can pick up from either enemies or hidden events or villages or yada yada yada. There's 12 of them. They represent the 12 Crusaders, obviously. And when you hold one, it actually modulates your growth rates to sometimes an insane degree. For example, the Sed Scroll gives you like 30% speed growth, and the Hazel Scroll gives you 30% HP growth, or is it strength? I think it's HP. But what's cool about this is, of course, you can fix, quote unquote, fix bad characters or increase the strength of already strong characters by making their growths out of control, because you can stack these things. They also block criticals. I don't know if I mentioned that. They block criticals, so they're always nice to have if you can. When I was first playing the game, I didn't use them to modulate my growths too much because I feel like the growth rates in this game aren't terrible. Like, a lot of my units ended up pretty well rounded despite not scroll stacking. I just used them as insurance to not get crit. If there are two things in Thracia I'm afraid of, it's Fog of War and getting crit. And now enemy movement stars, but mostly Fog of War and getting crit. Crusader Scrolls are fun. They let you make really fun training projects out of low tier characters like Marty or Lara, for example. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And yeah, they're just fun. I love them. Thracia also has a ton of personal weapons. A ton of them, like way too many, probably. Way more than I thought they did. Almost every character has a personal weapon. At least the good ones. The good characters have personal weapons. And I actually really enjoy the way that they balance these weapons. Some of them are absurd, like the Poogie, like I mentioned. The Thief Staff is so funny. I love the Thief Staff. Bayo Sword's pretty decent. I wish it didn't give the Wrath and I don't know why the fuck it has Wrath and Vantage. That shit doesn't even work, but it's good. Brave Lance, of course, is good. Lots of good stuff. Marita Sword, I have a newfound appreciation for because it gives you Nihil. They feel like they're completely overtuned, and they all have like around 60-ish uses. Like, they all have a lot of uses. Even the Light Brand has a lot of uses, but they never really felt too oppressive to me. Like, they were definitely assets to me in battle. You also have Hermern on Safi, who can just fix any weapon in the game, which is... I love Safi. I love her. Personal weapons are really fun in this game. It makes me a bit sad that we don't really have as many in modern Fire Emblem. It doesn't feel like it, at least. Like, even random-ass characters got personal weapons. It's really funny. Speaking of weapons, we have status effects, or status staves. Status staves. The bane of many players' existence. I know staves are very strong, very, very strong in Thracia, very oppressive in Thracia, and I fucking love it. Because, again, like every mechanic in this game, not only do you have access to it, the enemy has access to it too. So sometimes you really have to play around what the enemy has, or alternatively, burst down the enemies with the sleep staffs, or the berserk staff, steal it from them, put them to sleep, berserk them, you know? Warp to them, rewarp to them. They usually target the character with the highest HP and the lowest magic stat, so there is a bit of reliability in determining who's going to get hit by what sleep, or I just assumed to be sleep, what status effect is on the map. So honestly, I never found them to be too big of an issue. If anything, it feels like they're better in the player's hands than they are in the enemy's hands, because you can be a lot more proactive in choosing which enemy to silence or neutralize before it's too late. Also, your magic has to exceed the target's magic to even work. So usually your good staffers aren't going to be affected anyway. And as long as you have Restore, which they do have a lot of restore stats in this game. As long as you have restore, you're fine. I never thought it was a big problem. I liked playing with the stats effects more than I did getting hit by them, because I didn't get hit by them too much. After a point, I'm looking at you, chapter 12. After a point, I didn't really mind the status effects. I liked using status staves more, if anything. Now, as for the game as a whole, I will say, gameplay-wise, I don't think it was as hard as people made it out to be. Like, genuinely, if you have any hesitation on playing Thracia because it's supposed to be like the hardest Fire Emblem game, an unforgiving challenge that only veterans can withstand, it's bullshit. It's not that hard. There are points where you will be tested, because there were many times where I had to reset an hour-long chapter, or many times where I had to ponder, should I leave this character to die, and just continue. It's like, that's pretty much any Fire Emblem game to a degree. Maybe it's a little bit more prevalent in Thracia, but I really didn't think it was as hard as people made it out to be. I thought I'd be looking at like enemies with cap stats, and like they would always proc movement stars, and I would miss staff uses all the time, so then my characters won't be able to heal on the player phase. I thought the growth rates would be so bad, characters would never level up. But like these things don't really, I mean, they're true to a certain degree, but they're not so bad that it's gonna affect your entire game. Like you're not going around missing every heal. You're not going around with 0 stat level ups all the time. It's on average, actually, the enemies are weaker than most Fire Emblem games. On average, even in the end game, enemies barely had stats over the double digits. Like, they're not that strong. The strength of Thracia's enemies they lie in their numbers, obviously, and also in them using strategic positions over your army. That's where the difficulty lies, not in sheer force of strength. So if you're worried about that, don't be. It's not that difficult, and even for me, and I'm not claiming to be the Fire Emblem god. Like, I'm not the best at these games or anything. I love these games. You know, at this point, maybe I am good because I haven't been playing it for like almost 2 decades. But yeah, it's not that bad. Just play this. This game's great. What I also love about Thracia is the rank system. I'm probably showing it right now. I'm trying to get a triple S rank run. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Right now, I'm just kind of practicing on getting low turn counts and trying to be better at this game, because I really enjoy playing this. I didn't think I would love it this much, but the ranking system is awesome. I think the last game that had a ranking system was Sacred Stones, but I don't remember what the prerequisites were for getting good ranks in the GBA games, mostly because I don't really like the GBA games, if I'm being honest. But no, the ranking system is it makes you really rethink how you play this game. Like, you have to do these maps in the lowest amount of turns possible. Every move genuinely counts. And when I was first playing it, of course, my turn count was like absurd. I had like over 500 turns. Like, that's not good. You need, like, I think below 179 to get the triple S rank. So if you really want the challenge and the bragging rights, I guess, to be like, oh, look at me, I'm better than you because I got triple S rank. Well, that's gonna take some work. It's not easy to do, so I'm working on that. But I love that. It shows that they clearly did not design this game to just be juggernauted with a powerful squad. They want you to actually like think about the moves you're making, which moves matter, how can you beat this map in the most quick and efficient way that isn't just warp skipping, because that's not always the quickest way, even though it kind of is. That also goes into my next point of why this game is good. You can interact with it on multiple levels. That's a really, really good thing for it, because I had this preconception going into it that I have to play low turn counts, I have to be super efficient, that's the only way to get Thracia done. No, this is actually an RPG lover's dream, because you can build any character you want. You can literally modulate their growths. You can steal any weapon in the game. Any weapon in the game. Literally, you can steal any weapon in the game if you know what you're doing, of course. If you have the con for it, or the magic with the thief staff, you can take anything you want. Everything is yours for the taking. Any character can be built up. It's great. There's a lot of creative freedom when it comes to which characters you want to use, and any character can be good. Genuinely, any character can be good. Even Marty, even Kane and Alba. I low-key have a newfound appreciation for Kane, Alba, and Robert. They're not good. They are not good. But there are certain things about them that are unique, that lets them stand out. I think it's mainly their supports. I'll get into that later. But that's the best thing about the ratio. You can play it with the low turn count, the triple S rank run, the efficiency of like a veteran player, someone that really wants to understand every mechanic and beat the game in the most efficient way possible. But you can also play it on a very slow playthrough. You can play it as slow as you want. You can build up any character you want. You have the ability to give Paragon to everyone. There's a Paragon mode in this game. You can literally give everyone Paragon. You can train everyone up. You can have everyone max their stats for the final chapter. You can do that. If you like to play like that, you can do that. And if you don't like to play like that, you don't have to do that. There's another way to play the game with ranked mode. That's really cool. And I kind of want them to bring rankings back to Fire Emblem because that changes the way you can play the game. That completely changes the way you can play the game. That's one of the best things about the ratio. It's beautiful. Thracia also had a ton of unique maps, and that goes back into the interacting with the game on multiple levels. There are maps where they clearly let you take your time to build your characters or train up or grind out, whatever you want to do. And there are a ton of maps where they didn't want you to do that, clearly, and they would throw waves of reinforcements at you. And that seems like, oh, that's bad game design. They're just flooding the map with enemy density to artificially make the player hurry. No, that's them being like, dude, fucking stop messing around. You need to go. Any escape chapter in the game is amazing. Any defend map in the game is amazing. Because like they are clearly trying to get the player to feel the sense of unease and stress. I don't know. I guess that's not really a good thing to stress your player out. But in the context of this, it makes sense. They don't want you to just sit around and passively play the game. They want you to interact with it. And if you want to get out of these maps alive, you need to be actually thinking about where your unit should be, how you're getting out of the situation. You can't just throw anyone in front of a bunch of enemies and just win. I'm looking at, like, I hate to say it because everyone uses this example to death, but like, look at Birthright Ryoma, right? That unit is crazy. He's stupid. You don't have to do anything in Birthright because you can pair up Corrin with Ryoma and then just clear every map in the game. Every single map in the game can be cleared like that. There's no thinking required. Thracia's not like that. Thracia also invented defend maps. Again, I thought this was a GBA thing. Thracia invented defend maps. I think it also invented escape maps, right? It had a lot of varying objectives. It was every single map. Even though I hate some of these maps, every single map was memorable and fun to a degree. Sometimes they were annoying, but I can't deny I had fun with this game overall. And those maps also feed into the gameplay story integration, like I was saying. When you're playing an escape map, there are a ton of enemies chasing after you. They do not want you to just sit around and have fun. They want you to leave. The objective is to escape. How are you escaping? You have to run through the town. I'm looking at chapter like 6, I think. That's one of my favorite chapters in the game. You're running through the town. You think, okay, well, it's not that bad. I can just handle these guys in the town and like restock, buy some things, visit the villages, blah, blah, blah. You have a little bit of time. Yeah, you have a little bit of time to do that. But then they have Cavalier reinforcements. And then Gals is just running after you. And this dude has like 5 movement stars. So he has a 25% chance to move again. And he can kill anybody in your army. They do not want you to sit around. I love that. I really love that Thracia does that. It feels like the maps where you're supposed to be like this kind of scrappy rebel group trying to fight against this gigantic oppressive empire. You can feel that in the way that these maps are designed. It really feels like you're always on the back end. You're always on the run, always at a disadvantage, because frankly the enemy you're fighting is huge, way bigger than anything on the continent. Yggdrasil is in a crisis. Yggdrasil is in a crisis right now. Your little rebel group is nothing compared to the might of the Lobster Empire. Thracia is great at that. Gameplay story iteration, Thracia's easily... It's close to Genealogy. I'm not sure if it's better than Genealogy in terms of that aspect alone, but I think it's pretty close. I will also say the cast is really fun. From a writing standpoint, I don't know. I'm still kind of iffy on like the writing of characters in Thracia, because they really do just kind of have one-liners and then that's it. I do think it's nice. I do like that you kind of have to make your own inferences on characters and like their endings and their relationships based on like game mechanics. Like, for example, the supports between certain characters. I've mentioned it before. It's again another thing Thracia did before GBA. Dude, Thracia's the best. So there are no support conversations, but a lot of characters usually have a support with each other, and I believe that when they're within like 3 tiles of each other, I could be wrong, correct me, they definitely give at least 10 hits and avoid, and possibly even crit and crit avoid. It might be all of them. I could be wrong though, but some of them have a 20% bonus and not 10%, and these things can also stack. So the perfect example is like Dean and Lenoan. They have a 20% support, so when she's within 3 spaces of Dean, he's getting 20 hit avoid, 20 crit and crit avoid. That's pretty good. But he also has a support with his sister, Edda, who has a 10% support. So when they're both within range of Dean, he's getting 30 hit and avoid. This makes certain strategies like dodge tanking more reliable if you like to do that, and ensures certain strategies where you need really good hit rate to work, because you're basically artificially increasing, not even artificially, you're literally increasing the hit rate of the character by an absurd degree. 30 is no small amount. A 30 hit swing is gigantic, and that's on top of having authority stars, which I didn't even mention, but that wasn't a Thracia thing. That originated in Genealogy, I believe. But on top of authority stars, which give like 3% hit and avoid, you can, even though hit rates might seem shaky in this game, you can really swing them in your favor if you know what you're doing. But yeah, like I was saying, the cast is great. There's a bunch of really fun units to use. We have Ocean, Finn, Ronan. I love Ronan, dude. I love him. You got Tina. I love Tina. Freaking Homer, right? Sarah's really good. Asbel's really good. Marita's really good. I love Dean. Safi. I love this girl, dude. I love Safi. Fergus is really good too. I like Karen. There's a ton of fun units. I really didn't think I'd like any character from this after I finished playing. Or when I first started playing, I thought, oh, I probably won't care. It's just Thracia characters. No, I love the entire cast. Every single unit. Even the scrubby ones. Even Robert and Kane and Alba and Glade and Selphina. I don't know if I'll ever use them, but I could see myself doing it if I had to. And I would give them a chance, because they, again, can do the support thing where they stack support together. I believe Selphina gives everyone in that squad like 10% hit in the void, and then Glade also does that, and then Glade and Selphina also support each other for like a 20%. So as long as they're all together, you can make a really big like evade ball of Cavaliers. I think that's pretty fun. Really good cast. A lot of interesting characters, a lot of interesting units. Now when it comes to the story, I think it's close to Genealogy. It might edge it out just by a bit for me. I think it's definitely better than like Tellius, even though Tellius has a really good story too. But this is probably my favorite story in Fire Emblem. It's really good. Like I was mentioning before with the gameplay story integration, I love the feeling of constantly being on the run, trying to fight back against this seemingly invincible force of evil. Really, the Empire is terrible. Thracia is in disarray. Thracia has unrest, and you see that in every corner of the land. You have a ton of interesting factions and like motivations that are happening beneath the surface, but also in tandem with Leaf's own journey. It's really interesting. I think Leaf is the best lord in the series. For reference, before Leaf, I would have said like maybe Celica or Micaiah were my favorites before this, or Sigurd. I like Sigurd too, and Ike, of course. Ike's great, but Leaf, he steals the show. Leaf, he is the best lord, bar none. The things that he has had to go through, the fight that he has had compared to any other Fire Emblem lord is insane. This dude is crawling through the dirt, literally stealing weapons off the backs of enemies because he can't afford to do so. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have his home. It was ripped from him. I mean, I guess it's not really original. I mean, look at Marth, right? But I don't know. It feels different with Leaf. It just feels different. He's scrappy. He's filled with rage, but he's also like super naive despite that. It's really strange, but really interesting too, that he's lived this life separated from his parents for the majority of it. I don't think he ever knew his parents, right? He's been traveling from place to place on the run as a kid. And he's lived a pretty sheltered life, but he also hasn't really had a family, like a real family. I mean, he's had found family in like Avel and Finn and Nana and Lenoan and all those people, but and Miranda, yeah, it's just, I don't know. The kid's been through a lot. He's been through a lot, and he wants a lot of change. He wants everything to change. He wants to take everything back for his homeland. But it's like he's up against an impossible fight here. And unlike other Fire Emblem protagonists, he doesn't have like a special power or like, I mean, Quan was kind of a hero in Thracia, but he didn't inherit the major blood of Nurin, I think it is. Or is it Dayan? I think it's Nurin. He's not special. He's a lord, but he's not special. I wouldn't say he's like the everyman. It's not like Ike, who literally is not, and he doesn't have any royalty or any noble blood in him. But Leaf came from nothing. He didn't have anything. And seeing the growth of a character like that, really seeing, it's similar to Seliph in a way for me. At least I see it like that, where he didn't really fully understand the tragedies of what was happening in Yggdrasil until he saw it with his own eyes. And even though he was fighting to free Yggdrasil from this, he felt powerless all the same. And he had to grow as a person, because he's also 15, mind you. He's really young. He had to grow as a person and understand where his limits lie, relying on other people and choosing to pick his fights wisely. I don't know. I think it's really, really fun to see him grow as a character, because he thought he could just take it back right then and there in the beginning. Then he loses a lot throughout the story, by the way. I guess a lot of Fire Emblem lords do, but I feel like he loses a lot more. He loses a lot throughout the story. Like it never feels like we're winning in Thracia until like maybe the end. It always feels like we're on the back pedal. We're always running away. We're trying to get small victories here and there, but that's never enough. Leaf's story is great. He's a really, really cool lord. He's my favorite lord. I will say also the villains, and this kind of ties into the Yggdrasil unrest thing I was saying. The villains, I don't think are bad. I really don't. They aren't present though, and I could see that being a problem for people. And maybe I'm coping when I'm saying this, but I don't think that they need to be on the screen to be good villains. It's kind of like Julius for me, where the strength in their character lies in the fact that the land around them is so ravaged and and terrible. Like the living conditions in Yggdrasil, let's just say they aren't stellar. They're not good. I think they might have a child abduction crisis happening, but that could just be me. You don't really see Veld or Raedric stand around and say like their ambitions and be like, oh, I'm evil because X, Y, and Z. No, you literally, this is the example of like showing over telling, right? It's not like the number one rule of storytelling, showing over telling. You don't have to have Raedric say that he's evil to understand how terrible of a person he is. He's also a coward, and a pussy, and he fucking sucks. But I like that. Not every villain needs to be like super ambitious and evil. He can just be a coward, because a lot of evil people genuinely are cowards. In Thracia, we see a lot of areas, a lot of cities and districts being under the Empire's thumb. Literally, we are saving kids in like every other map. I'm not even kidding. Every other map, we're saving children from evil Satan cultists. I think that says a lot for the character of Veld and Raedric when things like this are commonplace. Yeah, I think that's really just like one of the best ways to showcase a villain is how bad is this character or how bad is this villain if even the setting reflects that, because they're, like I said, there are children being kidnapped and people are not happy with the way that Thracia is being run. People are literally being killed in the streets openly. I don't know. I think the villains are kind of understated. Can I say it like that? Maybe. I think they're understated. I don't really need them to be front and center. I thought they were fine. I actually really enjoyed the way that they portrayed these guys through the gameplay itself, through the story, instead of just having them exposit all the time. I didn't mind them. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Veld's the best villain ever. No, like, he should not have been the final boss. I mean, I don't know who else it would have been, to be honest. It's a little bit underwhelming, I suppose, to have the final boss just be like a dark mage. But that's what Thracia is. It's not trying to be more than what it needs to be. You know, we're not fighting God here. We're just trying to take back our home. I like that. I like that Thracia's story is a smaller scale like this. It's much more focused, it feels. Also, August is the GOAT. I don't know where to put this. I just want to say I like August a lot. He's cool. That's my dad.
There is nothing I cannot do.
Alright, I've been praising this game for... Oh my god, I hope this doesn't turn out to be like an hour long again. Jesus Christ. However long it's probably been a while. But let's talk about the things I don't like about Thracia. There are only a few things. It's only a few. I will say, number one, surprisingly, I don't really like the music. I mean, it's not really a big deal because I could just turn it off, I guess. But when I first played it, I mean, it wasn't bad. The music's not bad, but it's not like... I just didn't like it. It's, in a way, it serves its purpose because it genuinely made me feel uneasy and like anxious as I was playing the game a lot. So I guess if that was the intention, it succeeded. But I feel like it was just too heavy at times, you know? I do like a fun little tune, but Thracia didn't have too many of those. There were a few songs I did like, though. Especially the ending song, Wind. It's really nice. One of my favorites. I think it was... What is it called? Should I look this up? I think it was called, like, Leaf's Liberation or something. It's the one that's like, Dun, 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 dun. Boom, boom, boom. It's the one that was in Engage. You know that one? I did like that song. And I did like the song when the chapter started. It was a more triumphant version of the chapter start music. It was like duh, 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 duh. That was good. But few and far in between. The majority of the soundtrack was just too heavy. It was just I sound like I didn't hate it. I just wasn't a fan. I liked Genealogy's soundtrack more, and that was also heavy at times, but it had a lot of fun songs like the Thracia, ironically enough, the Thracia enemy theme. You know the one. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, boom, boom. And then it goes doom, 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 boom, 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 boom. That shit slaps. But yeah, the music, it's whatever. I also hated Ballista. I hate them. I understand how to kind of circumvent them a little bit more, but even now, to this day, they give me a lot of trouble. I don't like ballistas in this game. I wish they were just a little bit weaker or a little bit more inaccurate. The problem with ballistas is the two things I just said. They're too strong, they have too much attack, and their hit is too high. It's too much. And they also love to stack ballista next to each other all the time. So it's not like you can just swoop a flyer in and then just poke them to death like other Fire Emblem games. No. You have to just, like, take it. I really don't understand how you're supposed to interact with those things. I guess you're supposed to put them to sleep or berserk them or whatever. But, like, I just... They suck. Every chapter with a ballista in it kind of sucks. I can't lie. I don't like ballistas. They're too strong. Let's talk about the maps, too. There are a ton of maps I loved and a ton of maps I hate. I'll probably show them on the screen. Let's go through them one by one. Chapter 10. Oh my god, this is probably one of the worst chapters. There's one worse than this. There's one worse than this, but this is like top 2 worst chapters in this game for me. Perfect example of the ballista issue. They are perfectly positioned to hit someone when they're in range of another ballista, so that way even if you take that ballista down, they can still target you. So yeah, you can't swoop Karen in, and even though it's Karen, she's not gonna kill anything. So at this point in the game, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And then there is also this random Draco Knight in the back with a silver lance for some reason. He just starts coming at you, and I can't even determine like his movement pattern. So I don't know who he's going for or why. And so he's just kind of there. Why? Why is he here? Random guy, random dude, right? And then the worst part for me are these 2 thieves. Mostly this one over here near the house up top in the north. They have very desirable items. They have a stamina drink and a rapier. More so the stamina drink. You want to capture these guys if you can. If you can. And you also want to visit the 2 houses because I think they have a rescue staff and a not restore, ensorcel. Ensorcel and a rescue staff. You want both of those things. So clearly they want you to go quickly, move quickly on this map to get to the house before the thieves destroy it. Well, here's another problem. We got a fat ass armor knight on a gate with a flame sword. I also want that. How do I get that? I have to capture him with an armor slayer. What's the accuracy on the armor slayer when you're capturing? In the 50s. So it's like, do you just kill this guy and let the flame sword go and then rush through the thieves? You have to make a lot of concessions. And maybe that's the beauty of this map, is you have to decide what's the most important thing. Do you risk trying to get the flame sword early and then push to the north to get that thief? Or do you just kill the armor knight and rush even faster to get that thief to guarantee that you get the house? I don't know. And I don't like it. I want everything. I want everything on this map, and it's too hard to get it all. And also there's a bolting guy over here. And it's just annoying. The first time I played this chapter, I think I took 2 fucking hours. I'm not even kidding. This is a warp skip chapter. You want to warp skip this shit. Like, legit. You just want to kill the boss as quickly as you can. Get on the throne. Get behind the enemy. Maybe that's what they were insinuating, because I do believe you have warp before this chapter. So maybe that's what Dorius... Because I think he says something to that effect. He's like, should we walk through the valley and get our units killed? Or should we go fast and get our units killed? Or maybe we do a third thing. Maybe he was alluding to warp. I don't know. But yeah, the thing that pisses me off the most is the ballista being everywhere. The thieves that get to the houses so quickly, it's really hard to capture them. So not only do you lose the staff, I wish when they pillage the house they would take the item so that way you can steal it from the thief. But they just destroy it. They just destroy it. Even though this thief has like 2 strength, I don't know how the hell you're losing to this guy, but whatever. Also, Olwyn and Fred show up for some reason. They just show up to scare you and then they leave. Such a weird chapter. I don't like this chapter. Chapter 14X. This one isn't bad per se. It's just really annoying. The only thing I didn't like about it was obviously the rewarping dark mages, and also they can just kind of appear from the forest at any moment, and this is how I lost some units. And there are also flyers that you can't see. Also, yeah, this is also a Fog of War chapter, so automatically it's bad, not fun. Rescuing the civilians, it's worth it though to get like 6 stamina drinks. You want to make sure they're all alive if you can. Sometimes one is going to die at the end because there are also mages that spawn in towards the end. There's just too much ambush spawns and I can't see anything. The flyers come in, they swoop in, they take the civilians, and then they run out of range, so I can't see them. And because this is Thracia and the Fog of War sucks complete dog shit, even if I get like 1 tile close to the Pegasus Knight that has the civilian, I still can't see him. You gotta use torches. You need a ton of torches. I know Lenoan comes with a torch staff. Yeah, I know, but like, it's just, I don't know, man. Not a fan of this one. I completely skipped over 12. This is also the reason I don't like 12, Fog of War. If you do not have a guide, you're fucked. You're literally fucked, because there are also villages you can't even see on the map. They get destroyed really quickly if you don't get there quickly. So you gotta torch it up. I mean, I guess that's like the running theme of Fog of War. Just use torch staff. You need torches. You need a lot of torches. Just you always use torches. That's my fault. A skill issue on my part. But there's also Salem with the sleep staff. How fun. Guess what sleep does? Put you to sleep. Can't do anything. Oh, maybe I can use restore? You don't have it. You don't have restore. So what you have to do is you have to warp Finn or Fergus or somebody that can one round Salem and capture him. Turn 1, so you just don't have to deal with that. Also, it conserves the sleep staff so you can use it next chapter. This is I mean, I just kind of outlined a strategy to actually circumvent the challenge, quote unquote, of this chapter, but it's still not fun if you're playing it straight. Not great. 12X is even worse because Tina's here. That's the worst part. Tina, there's a bunch of thieves. It's kind of interesting in its setup because there's a ton of treasure that the thieves are just gonna steal, and you can actually take the treasure back if you can capture them. But this is also a Fog of War chapter, and it's indoors, so you don't get cavalry. You can't have high movement. Tina's literally stealing things from you the entire chapter, so she's wasting her thief staff on top of that because you recruit her after with Safi. It's just, you can't play this. This is another map you can't play straight. You gotta warp skip. You gotta warp either Lara or Lithis or Salem into the room with Pern, recruit him, and then everyone just runs away. You also want to put Shrewd to sleep or capture him, so that way you can get him if you want him, I guess. He's not bad to have. Yeah, it's just like a fuck you chapter, man. This shit is ridiculous. All right, in the later half of the game, chapter 22. Notice how I skipped 21. We'll get to 21. Chapter 22. Really difficult chapter to play as intended, because guess what it has? A bunch of ballista. Sias has 10 authority stars. The boss has a siege tome that puts you to sleep. Every enemy has 99 hit, and on average you'll have like 50 because Sias has 10 authority stars. Also, Sias has sleep, I think. Does he have sleep? He has some status. He has silence, I believe, and sleep, and he's gonna status you from afar. And Reinhardt is cracked. There is a way to circumvent Reinhardt, of course, if you have Olwen, but Reinhardt is cracked. It's just so much. And then when you get across the bridge, they destroy it, so that way you're fucked and you have to fight them. It's just, this is a warp chapter. Warp skip it. You use the thief staff with Tina. You take the Master Lance. You warp in Dean. You capture the boss. You warp in Leaf. There you go. Chapter done. That's how you should play this. But there is an incentive to go to the town and get so there's like Master Seals if you need more of those. There are some bolting tomes and physics, and I believe there might be even wind. No, there's wind tomes in 21. I think there are light tomes in 22. So if you want Safi to have a light tome, I guess, for some reason. Just yeah, this shit sucks if you're playing it straight. Chapter 2 is not good, but it's really fun, but it's not good. 21 is probably my least favorite chapter in the game. I've lost so many units here, and I've had to reset so many times because it fucking sucks. All right, so what's the worst part about this? Oh, guess what? Ballistas are back. Hooray, ballistas are back. Love ballistas. Granted, these are venom ballistas, so they're a little bit weaker, but I don't care. They're still ballistas. They're annoying. You got a bunch of reinforcements spawning from the forts. They're just shitty soldiers, but they're annoying regardless. You also have a team of Draco Knights, of Thracian Draco Knights for some reason. These guys are like sleeper threats. Like, they don't seem that scary. I mean, they are kind of scary. They have 48 HP, and they're flying units, obviously. But they only move if your units are like separated from each other or something. So I guess you can kind of ignore them if you're moving in a big ball. But you don't want to do that because there are other objectives to hit in this chapter. Lenoan wants to get a promotion from the church. So you need to somehow ferry her across the northern side of the chapter to get her to that church. But there are a bunch of ballistas. And at this point, Lenoan probably has like 0 defense. So she gets like 1 shot by these motherfuckers. Unless she's dodging, right? So you think, okay, maybe I'll just rescue her with Dean. No, obviously not. Flyers. There's ballistas. So don't use a flyer. Maybe I'll rescue her with Finn and then move her through the thing. Well, there's a bunch of forests impeding the movement of cavalry. So, like, what are you supposed to... Okay, so there's that. And then, like I said, the Draco Knights, if you do end up getting caught off guard by those guys, They swoop in, they try to capture or kill whoever is separated. And these guys have Miracle. All of them have Miracle. And how Miracle works in this game is they have a luck percentage chance times 3 to dodge all fatal damage for the rest of combat. These motherfuckers have 10 luck. They have 30%. They have a 30% chance to just not die at any given moment. That's really annoying. And they have vulneraries, and of course they have cancel because they're flying units. So they poke you. If you get close to killing them, they'll just run away, heal up, and keep doing that. Really annoying. The best thing you can do is, I guess, sleep the boss or something. I don't know. And then if you want to warp skip this, I don't even understand how you're supposed to warp skip it, because there is a cleric with a sleep staff, which you obviously you probably want to get that, right? But he's annoying. He's also standing in front of the boss, so you need to somehow move that cleric out the way, or I guess maybe warp in a flyer or something, because the boss is, of course, armored. He's an armored unit, and he has 2 wind tomes. He has Blizzard, which is super annoying. It's a sleep siege tome. Really hate that. And Tornado. So even if he did warp in a flyer, they get hurt by the effective damage from wind, right? I don't know. I don't really know how you're supposed to approach this. This is just a slog. And there's also like cavalry reinforcements to the right, and they have pole axes, and I think they have horse slayers, and oh my god. I think the way I usually tackle this is you do get Dwermund or Dermot or however the fuck you say it. You do get him in this chapter, and he has Charm. So I guess you're supposed to stack Charm with like Nana and Dermot and Leaf for like 30 hit in the void at all times, and just walk through the valley or something. There are also wind tomes in the shop you want to hit up. I usually buy them because wind is the best spell in the game. This is just annoying. I don't like this. I fucking hate this chapter. It sucks. Alright, I'm gonna end this probably very long video at this point. Damn it, I gotta stop making these long ass videos. I'm sorry. I swear. This is a very rare thing for me to make videos like this. I'm probably not gonna do this too often, but if there's ever a game I really enjoyed, I just want to ramble and talk about and gush about, I'll probably make more of these. But very far and few between. Thracia was just that good. I will say that Thracia is my favorite Fire Emblem game in the series now. It has usurped Fates for me after thinking about it for like a month or two. It's just that good. So much unique mechanics going on. Really good story. Really fun cast. Really great lord. And endlessly replayable. Like, I don't think I can ever get sick of this. Genuinely. Every time I play Thracia, I learn something new. It's really cool. This game literally changed the way that I view Fire Emblem. I mentioned it way before, but like I started with Awakening, and it feels like every time I play a new Fire Emblem game, I start to like Awakening less. I do appreciate it for what it is, because it was my starting point, but holy shit. There's a difference between games like Awakening and games like Thracia, where Awakening feels a lot more in line with like a traditional RPG, right? Because it's a lot more open-ended. There are just a ton of ways to grind, and you don't really have to like interact with the game mechanically too much with Awakening, I feel. With Thracia, it's the complete opposite. You have to constantly engage with its systems, and you have to constantly be thinking about how you're utilizing your characters and how you're approaching certain maps. You can't there's no sitting around and waiting for enemies to grind. Like you need to be clearing these with consideration. It's really cool. Going forward, I mean, this isn't really gonna make any other Fire Emblem game that much worse in my eyes, but I'm gonna be looking at them with a lot more scrutiny. I might be super annoying and be like, oh, Thracia did this better, Thracia did this first, blah 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 blah. But Thracia it's good. It's like genuinely really good. I really want more people to play this game. It seems so unapproachable, but it really isn't. It's a really good time. I know Tearing Saga exists. I'll probably play that. I'll probably love it, to be honest. But I'm right now I'm really into Thracia. I'm probably playing for the 4th time as I'm recording this, because there are a lot of things I want to learn about this game, and I'm really trying to get that triple S rank run. So far, not so good, but one day I'll be good. But for me, I think I finally realized what I like about Fire Emblem, and not just why I play it. I enjoy challenging maps and considered game design unique mechanics that also enforce the storytelling in the game, right? A nice level of player freedom when it comes to challenge, not allowing the player to just use one unit and be brainless when it comes to playing the game, trying to make use of everything and anything that you have in your inventory, in your army, in the enemy's inventory. Everything works together in Thracia. Every mechanic, every time you think that you can outsmart the game says no, you can't do it like that, but you can do it like this, and that can work. You have to engage with this game on its merit, on its level, and I think that's really, really smart and really cool for a game to be so confident in itself, to have all of its systems, to have all of its mechanics cover each other, to form this experience, really, that you can't get with any other Fire Emblem game, with any other game, period. There's no game I've played like this. It's wholly unique. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna end this, but play Thracia. Play Thracia 776 because Safi's in it. Also subscribe.